was out riding the other day. I did about 200 miles in one day, and I really wanted to stretch my legs out, and there's only so much I can stretch out with the floorboards because of this. Usually I can put my heel on this and come all the way up, but I really didn't want it rubbing against the actual lower cowl here. So I'm going to have to go ahead and put on some highway pegs. So that's one last look. I know it looks clean. I really didn't want to, but oh my god, on long rides it's just so much nicer to have highway pegs for your feet. So that's what it's like now, and I'll show you the pegs that I bought. This is the set. So that's the top of the peg where your foot goes, and this is the back of it. It actually looks pretty darn nice. So that's going to be pretty sweet. When they're folded up, they'll look nice. The one thing I liked about this company, and they were about half the price as a Kuryakin, especially on sale, is I like the way this is all finished off. Kuryakin just had a bunch of nuts and everything still showing. I like Kuryakin, but they're not as perfect as some people think. The last couple things I bought from them over the years, the chrome started to delaminate. Now I'm hoping these will be a bit better, but these are ones I'm going to basically use. And I had to get the long reach because I sat on the bike and I kept trying to figure out, do I want the shorter one so this isn't so long and obnoxious looking, but I think it's actually going to be nice. Because like I said, the chrome is in really, really good shape. So, that's it. And it came with some two-way tape here. Came with these little guys here to go inside here if I need to. This one here should be good enough. I haven't checked it yet, but this should be good enough to fit around the crash bars I have, which are 1.25 inches. And I believe those are if you have like a smaller size. But I'll have a look. Maybe those go on anyway. There's no assembly directions, so I'll just kind of go ahead and figure it out as I go along. Alright, so I loosened up this Allen screw here, and that allows this to pivot so I can get the adjustment just right. It does come with really short Allen wrenches. I'll warn you that this one here is really, really tight, so it's nice if you have a set of kind of T-handle or L-handle Allen wrenches. So I'm going to be using those for this install, and I make sure I can get them nice and tight. Quality is pretty nice. This flies in here, look well machined, well coated, and there's like a little hard plastic or rubberized, but it's pretty hard, that goes in between these here. So far the quality, I'm really impressed. I think I got these on sale for $99.95. I was just up at JP Cycles up in Daytona, and these were right around $200 for the Kuryakin ones. Like I said, I've had Kuryakin, I like them, but they're not infallible and they're not foolproof. And then when they stop making stuff, they just don't even stand behind anymore. Oh, sorry, we don't carry that. So these guys probably the same thing, but I don't mind taking a chance with $99 versus $200. So I just wanted to show you guys the quality here. So basically what I'm seeing is this little clamp here. When you first put it around here, it doesn't look like it's going to tighten up that well. There's a loose. So these little plastic shims or sleeves that go in here, it looks like I'm going to have to go ahead and use those. So let me get this loosely set up. Okay, so flaw number one. If you put these on, this is actually made for a smaller crash bar, and they're not working quite the way. I wish they were made out of rubber, that way they could compress, but they're hard plastic, so they're basically no good. That's for a different size crash bar. However, when I put these on and go to tighten them down, it still slides. So what I'm going to have to do is see if I can come up with something I can stick in here. Maybe something that's sort of thick rubber, and that way as I tighten it down it'll get a better bite into the bike, into the crash bars, because right now, even without that big plastic spacer on the bottom, they're going to slide, and no matter how much I pinch this, it's not going to be tight enough. So I need to do something about adding some sort of layer of something or other in here. Maybe that's one of the difference between these and Kuryakin, I guess. You know, all I can say is whenever you're working on a bike, car, truck, whatever it is, everything always becomes a big pain in the ass, and you end up having to modify it, or it's not quite as it should be. But I just don't give up. I have to do what I do. So let's see what I can come up with the inside of this. Alright, so when I went into my secret stash, I've got all kinds of tapes, wraps, two ways, coatings, all kinds of stuff. This has the tape on it, but this is kind of like a non-slip. You put it on stairs or anything like that, it's a non-slip, and it's also rubberized. And I think if I cut some strips of this and stick it to the inside of here, that may do the trick. So let's go and see how that works. Always something, isn't it? A couple strips, they're not perfect, but at this point I don't really care. What I do care about is making them cover as much as that. I could probably just cut these in half. I may try that and use this one for the other side. So let me cut that in half and see if that works. And I need to get those stuck on there. And guys, I think this is going to do the trick. Alright, that's the way it goes on. With a nice chrome thing on the inside. Oh, that's awesome, man. And that'll go ahead and compress nice. And that'll hold on to that pretty darn well. Don't want to over torque it. Don't want to stress the pivot point, crack the metal. But this is going to do just fine. And by the time, like I said, I tighten it up and compress that, it's not going to go anywhere. And you can almost sort of see it if you look down in there, but I don't really care at this point. So let me go ahead and loosely fit this and see how it works. Alright, so I'm probably going to have to move that up and down, get the right thing, but I'm going to go ahead and get the foot pad on there, and then sit on the bike and roughly get an estimate on what position it'll work in. Then I can start worrying about tightening things down. Hey, getting these loosey fans, they're always a pain in the ass. So get everything lined up in here. This takes forever to get in so that it's nice and tight. Again, I haven't tightened this one up yet, but to line up the holes, it's good to use kind of like a center punch, and then moving around, that'll center everything. And again, before I put the screw in, I'm going to put a little Loctite on there. Of course, today has to be high freaking humidity, right? Feels like 105 degree type stuff. But anyway, so we do have Loctite on the threads here and here, and this takes a while to line up. It does get frustrating, but just take your time. Again, I've got this sorta placed right now. I just need to hop on the bike and see what it feels like. If maybe this needs to go up or down, left and right, something like that. I'm not sure yet. At least this would look cool with it flipped up. Okay, I want to make sure it doesn't get too close. Something like that. So I think that's probably as far in as I'll go. So I will try this thing here. If anything, that'll help me line it up on the other side, coming within that distance. So let me hop up on the bike and see what that feels like. Again, guys, these are fiddly, and honestly, it's a big pain in the ass doing this, but it's so nice once it's done. So normally this doesn't take quite as long, but there again, it's the first one. Stepping back, that's pretty much what it's going to look like. Okay, that's folded down. If you fold it up, you can barely see it, and at least from the side, doesn't look too bad with the chrome and the slots. So I'll get this locked into place. That seems to be a good position. And what I can do is get with the other side, and at least I have something to go off of, and then I'll get it all adjusted. But I kind of like how I did need that longer reach bar here, and I like how it kind of tucks into here. So that's kind of nice. It kind of looks like it may have been a Kawasaki accessory. However, it's not, and of course you saw what I had to go through to get it on, so it's definitely not a Kawasaki setup, but it should be pretty nice by the time I'm done. So let me get this one tightened up, and also that'll tell me if I over tighten it, something cracks, send them back or whatever. So let's get this one tightened up. I'm hoping I don't tighten this so much that it cracks up in this area here, but with that rubberized tape in there, I used just this little L-shaped hex key wrench here, Allen wrench, and tighten it up, and it still wants to move around a little bit, so I'm going to break out the big gun. So this is a 8mm Allen and a telescoping 3/8, be able to get some torque on there. Just want to get it snugged up so it doesn't move like it does right now. Like I said, it's always that first one you put on. The other one should be easy, and of course if I had 100 of these in front of me to do on other bikes, it would be a piece of cake, but this first one is always a pain in the ass. Alright, so I've got this torqued down pretty good. There is a little bit of play, and I guess you can move it. I'm definitely not liking that. And the problem is all up in here. Ah, gosh. So let me try getting this black washer out of here. and then see if I can squeeze this a bit more and let this rubber go ahead and pick up the slack. So let me take that black one out of there. Alright, so I almost got it. I had to switch over to a larger 1/2-inch drive. So we'll give that a go, and I'll give it one more torque. It's getting there, but it still moves just a little bit. It just needs a, it's always that one more smidge of a move, and that's usually what causes a crack or something. But let me try that. Give that just one more reef on there and see if that does the trick. That did it. Gave it just a bit more squeeze. Got it right where I want it. And I want to make it look like it came with the bike as much as possible. I kind of like that. I'll be able to flip it up and down with the toe of my foot. And again, it's not going anywhere now. So get it torqued down. I shouldn't say torqued down, but get it tightened down pretty good. Don't go too bananas. You'll kind of feel it stop. And then I just get just a one more little pump after that. And that seemed to do the trick. Okay, so here we go one more time at the other side. However, this time I know what I'm doing. I'm not going to use these. I definitely don't need these. But I do need these little rubber pads, so I'll go ahead and get those stuck on. And I'll actually assemble this onto here, onto the bench where I have more room. And then I can basically just kind of readjust it into place. And like I said, the other side will be a lot easier. It's always the first one that's a pain in the rear end. Doing this on the bench, be able to get some leverage in. This was a heck of a lot easier than when it was on the bike. So I would definitely suggest that. Get these on while it's on your bench. I can line that up. I'll go ahead and get the screw in there, but leave it loose until it's right where I want. Then I can tighten everything up. Looks like these Allen screws can also adjust the canter on this thing. So if you wanted it to only come down this far, you go ahead and screw that in a little bit. I want it to go all the way down flush, so I've got these backed off. So this is pretty ingenious, man, whoever came out with this. You can really fine-tune the look and feel of your pegs. Alright, so the bike sits at an angle, so trying to get a measurement off the ground isn't going to really be too conducive to what you're trying to do. So what I did, this is the same on the other side. So I put the tape measure here, came down 15 inches. Same thing over here, came down 15 inches. Okay, so I've got the height up and down on the bar exactly the same. I've got the angle pretty close, so we're getting there. And what I need to do when I tighten this up, when the peg is flipped up, to get it right about here, so that this Phillips head L wrench I was using just barely fits, and that way I know they'll be the same. So you get the height of here. This one here, you just stand behind the bike and eyeball it, and not to mention how close it gets to here, you'll know when you're on the right spline. So let me just go ahead and get that one tightened up. I told you the other side would be easier. It's always just that freaking first one. Okay, so it looks like that's it. I just need to tighten it up right in this position here. Okay. Looks like it just about does it. Make sure that's all the way in. That's pretty close. Double check the set screw adjustments on that one, so these are just right. And again from the side, doesn't look too bad. Hey guys, so you know what to do. Like, subscribe, hit that bell notification for future content. I'll go ahead and get this one on YouTube just as quickly as I can. Thanks again for watching.